You're listening to Spark TV, where we bring you daily interviews with real women in business at all stages. I'm your host, Danielle Lewis, and I am so grateful to have you here. So good. Sam, welcome to Spark TV.
Thanks so much. I'm so delighted to be here.
I'm just delighted that you're coming to me live from the fashion closet.
AKA the podcast studio. Yes, it is the fashion
I love it.
closet.
It's so cool. It looks interesting. So if anyone's not watching this on YouTube, the fabulous Sam is inside a closet right now. But I'm kind of jealous because it actually looks so fun, but also very practical and a good sign of the things that we do as business owners to keep the balls rolling.
All those things, yes. Try to keep it organized, try to switch it up for the seasons, or
Yeah.
like for, if I have a conference or a talk or what have you, I like to keep things organized in here. But yeah.
So good. I love it. Well, welcome. Let's kick things off by telling everyone who you are and what you do.
I'm Sam for Valentine, and I'm one of the co-founders and COO of Norby AI.
Amazing. Now tell us, what the heck does Norby AI do?
Yeah. Norby AI is reporting and insights for Shopify brands. We basically help DTC and kind of omni-channel brands be able to like see their business and their data clearly. You can kind of think of it as a like AI data analyst.
Mm-hmm.
So you connect your sales and revenue and marketing platforms, and you can put Norby to work, answering your questions, building reports for you, offering recommendations and insights. You can email with it. It learns from your email. You can chat with it on the web and in Slack. You can get really cool, like real-time answers about your marketing and product and sales and stuff. And then you can also get AI powered like weekly, monthly, and kind of quarterly reports with, details from everything from like your web traffic to customer insights to your performance marketing. Um, all those results emailed to you, your team, all kind of customized. And we have some cool other features like being able to like auto magically like update your like KPI tracker that, is, I know lots of teams do a lot of manual work on that. And we have some cool beta features around kind of like deep research and dashboards too.
This is wild because I ran an e-commerce store very briefly, built on Shopify in 2020, and went on to exit that business. And one of the most interesting things I found was I had no idea what metrics to look at. Like you look at your Shopify dashboard, and I was kind of like, okay, sales, those kind of things. But it's like almost, it sounds to me like you have built a tool that is like having an experienced e-commerce data analyst
Yep.
on your team like that.
Yes, like that.
That's so
My two
cool.
co-founders and I and our team, we have like very, very deep expertise in the e-commerce space. And we have also worked with a couple different growth marketers and like directors at ecom to really build out and kind of train the AI around this like very specific data and all the different kind of KPIs that an ecom business would need to track.
That is so cool. So you said you
Yeah.
have deep expertise in the e-com space. What is your background? How did you even get into this?
Oh my God. I have had a very episodic kind of career. Literally from being like an assistant fashion curator to working in like marketing, brand, sales, retail, kind of e-com on the commercial side of two major international museums, owning my own sales and marketing agency. Um, what kind of inspired me to pursue a career in tech really though was I had a consulting project kind of client. It was for a retail technology company back in 2019, 2020, and I absolutely kind of like loved the fast pace and kind of collaborative, I would say like multidisciplinary aspect of the work
Mm.
in tech and kind of the kind of startup culture. And it really, I would say, aligned kind of like with my skill set. So that kind of got me started on this path. And, I have been throughout the years been able to see, ecom really, really take off in businesses small and large. And how they might dovetail with like brick and mortar retail as well,
Mm.
really kind of like expanding omni-channel, how wholesale might play into some of that as well too, as a kind of like another sales channel. So really have been exposed to that throughout the years with, whether it was in museums, I would say it's probably a bit more kind of gift, kind of like
Mm.
self-purchase, but across many, many different product categories to then kind of going deeper, working with smaller kind of fashion brands, accessory brands, jewelry brands, and just seeing them kind of and helping them kind of scale on the digital side.
Yeah, because it's really interesting. You're right. Like it is super multidisciplinary. You have to be a tech person, an AI person, an e-com person, a fashion person. That's such an interesting mix of skill sets that you're bringing together. What do you think's been the biggest challenge for you along the way? There's not enough time in the world to cover all of the challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's that. I think what's been, and I don't know if this is necessarily like the right way to kind of answer this question, so I could potentially answer it a different way. But I have a like I'm an operator
Mm.
generally, and kind of I have a generalist skill set, I would say, in some ways. And I've had so many different experiences and I've been able to kind of leverage that. So I think it's a lot of different skills and a lot of different tools that I've picked up throughout the years.
Mm.
Um, so
I
I think that's
always
like one
love
way I could answer that question.
Well, no, I actually think it's really interesting because I think that sometimes people think the path is linear, that you just have an idea and you go and you pursue it and then you're a giant success and happy days. But it is exactly what you said. It is,
Yeah.
I did a bit of this, I did a bit of that, I found out this, I really liked that. And all of a sudden I am here. And so I actually love I have a generalist skill set because it's actually such a great quality to be able to be interested in different things and apply that back to solving problems in your business.
Yeah. And I would say even within that like generalist skill set, it's like I major in or I focus on kind of marketing, sales, biz
Mhm.
dev, partnerships, customer experience, customer success. I think they all kind of go kind of hand in hand. But, it is, I think a superpower is just like really, excuse my French, like getting shit done and
Yeah.
holding a lot of the kind of the balls in the air. But it's having done a bunch of different roles and experienced different pieces and seen a lot to then be able to kind of put that all together. And I think, whether your business is small or scaling or it's going through a pivot or what have you,
Mm.
you're going to need to leverage different skills and tools in that kit to kind of get you through or get you to the next level or help you make decisions or create strategy or what have you. So,
Yeah, I love that. And interesting. So you mentioned multiple roles, wearing many hats. You
mhm.
also mentioned your family. At what point in the business journey did having a family happen, and how has that impacted your ability to hold balls in the air?
Yeah. I have a 2.5-year-old.
Wow.
So I'm a venture backed founder, and so that is stressful in itself and running a team. I do think it it's really changed kind of over the last 2.5 years. I would say. I think in some ways, being a startup founder and being a parent is very there's like a lot of similarities,
Mhm.
and you need it's like no day is kind of the same, and you kind of never know sometimes like what you're gonna get You could, I was like talking to somebody a couple weeks ago. We were like, you could like show up at, the end of the day, at pickup, and you have snacks in the truck and the ball and the whatever, and you like feel like you're prepared, but it's just like not, it's just not the right thing. Um, so I think it's made me a bit more kind of flexible. I think it's really helped. And I would always hear this from, different friends or kind of mentors or just, other listening to other women on podcasts. Like it does kind of make you sharper and focus. And I never believed that that was like going to be me. So that has also kind of helped too. It kind of cuts out kind of some of the noise, I think, when you really are time crunched in some ways.
Mm.
I guess, it also kind of means I feel like I'm kind of in some ways working 24/7. Um, Really also trying not I'm like a big workaholic and I really love working, but I've been trying not to work on the weekends, and really just give that time to, like, family time or trying to even get a little bit of time to myself, which is important to
Well,
just
and it's well, it's
show
funny because
showing up as just, like, a human and, being a good partner and, being a good business partner and, being a good mom and a friend and a daughter and, all the things. Um, I've always been like a night owl. I would say in the last kind of, 4 to 5 months, um, as my little guys, become more of a toddler and have more feelings and, and assert independence, it's taken a lot more energy out of me. Like
mm,
I'm really tired. Like I'm much more tired early. And so I feel a little bit robbed of like my, late night quiet kind of thinking strategy time because I'm just like, oh, all right, I gotta get in bed.
well, and that was going to be a question, thinking about all of those ways in which you have to show up and hold energy, hold space for family, friends, team, husband, child, all of the people. And you mentioned that, you do actually have to carve out time for yourself. Is that something intentional that you do? Do you have a self-care practice or is it a little bit more ad hoc?
I would say the only like practice is coffee. Coffee in the morning, lots of coffee.
You're
No, I
speaking my
joke.
language.
Yes, exactly. I do try to daily if I can. I like and I planned it in. I need to like move my body and get a little sweaty for like 20 to
Mm,
30 minutes. And I can only probably really fit in like 30 minutes max a day. But it does help with like just, stress or thinking through things or shifting some energy or like, a vibe that, I might need to shift. But I feel like that's probably the most major
mm.
self-care thing. I don't know. This might be controversial, but sometimes I also just need to I say it's like I'm terrible at sitting still for 10 minutes. I am not very good at, meditating in a silence, but sometimes just kind of closing my eyes and kind of setting an alarm for 10 minutes and dozing off a little bit just to like
Mm.
give me a little recharge before like going back into meetings or like screen time or what have you.
I
Could
actually
be
could
helpful
not
too.
agree with that more. I get this funny if I've had a super stressful day and it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I get this like almost like headache behind my eyes and it's like
Yeah.
my eyes are fluttering. That practice of just closing your eyes, setting a timer and just breathing. And yes, sometimes you doze off a little bit, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
Just like literally closing your eyes for 10 minutes or 5 minutes or any kind of minutes is like life changing in those moments.
Yeah. Yeah. Micro, I don't know, quiet, nap, breathing, meditation, all the things. It works.
I know, I love it. And I love it too because I think, so I'm also a workaholic and I love that it's not like I have to do, my 5 a.m. routine and I have to do this and it's like we fit it in
I'm
when
not
we
a morning person. Oh my God. I mean, I think I was just sharing with
either.
you, like, my kiddo was like up at 5:30 this morning and I
Mm.
really hard like it. I feel a little bit it's hard. Yeah.
That's
Like not yeah,
crazy.
I'm never gonna be one of those like and I get up at 5 and then I like do X, Y, and Z. Like I listen to
Mm.
those people and I'm like, that is like aspiration that I will never, it's aspiration. I know I'm never going to get there, but I'm like, that could be amazing. It's just like not for me.
I
That's
was once
okay.
a morning person and I don't know what happened, but no more.
Mm,
It's no more. So I'm with
no.
you. I'm with you. Oh, I love it. You mentioned being a venture-backed startup. So talk to me
Hmm.
about raising capital. What was that like? How much have you raised? From who? What was the experience like of going out and raising money?
Yeah. So I have two co-founders. So it's the three of us, and I've been on technical. They're both technical. And to date, we've raised about $8 million.
Awesome.
Um, and from like what you would typically call like institutional VCs. Um, and we did that over uh we raised like a pre-seed and a seed um back a kind of few years ago, so have been we have a fiduciary duty with like that capital
Hmm.
to use it as efficiently as we can. And so that has, that's a lot of responsibility. It's been, an incredible responsibility and challenge. Raising has really been one of my co-founders.
Hmm.
Um, he's, it's like we've deploying our assets across the three of us.
Love
So
that.
he has been the one to really dig in with kind of investors and investor relations. We kind of shape the strategy together, kind of like the
Hmm.
three of us. Um, and we'll do calls and kind of catch ups and stuff. But fundraising is stressful. Being in a process is also stressful. You could be talking to, literally, 50, 60, 70, 80, sometimes, 100 different firms
Mm.
at different times, kind of within a process. So it can be very draining. And you get used to hearing yes, maybe. It's like not even a yes at first, right? It's like, oh, maybe, a lot of no's, or just like silence and kind of ghosting, or, we want to track you and kind of like we'll revisit. So I think you just get very used to the, kind of pitching yourself, your business, your vision,
Yeah.
which is important for any business, whether you're venture backed or not, or whether
Mm.
you're selling a service or a physical product. And also, thinking about like the different audiences, the different kind of like type of funds, the different type of people you might be kind of like talking to. And, there's also some like gaming and like kind of strategy within it as well too. That can be fun for some and really, really really, really stressful for others. I think, lucky that, I have been able to raise. There are a lot of women who haven't. I think
Mm.
it's now less than 2% of women founded companies that are able to raise venture capital. So, and that has like been in decline over the last few years. I think at one point it was like 2% or just over 2%. So,
Mhm.
um, super, super lucky.
Do I mean, you have an amazing business. Do you attribute your success in raising venture capital to something? Like, has there been a secret to your success? Do you think it's your team, just have an amazing business, like, or a bit of a combination of everything?
I think it's, when you are raising a pre-seed, it is really like the vision and
Mm.
the team and the, vision of the product that you're going to build, the almost kind of what the world might look like and be like once you've kind of solved that, or the kind of like mission in that. And
Mm.
they're really taking a bet on like the founding team and being able to kind of like execute. So I have two really incredible technical kind of co-founders. um we're, the three of us are really able, we have really complementary kind of skill sets, and we're able to create and execute and kind of bring to life in all the areas that, we need to be able to sell and scale. So
Yeah.
that it's a combination of things. I think it's also timing. It's timing in the market, what we are building, who we're building it for. There's probably some luck in there as well. I am a female founder, but I also have two male uh,
Co-founder.
co-founders, and sorry, I feel like I'm being sloppy with this, so you might want to edit it. But
No,
there's also
no,
something.
this is
There's
just
also
real life. This is real
Yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah. It is real life. There's also something. There's also something in that too. It wasn't just me
Mm,
myself kind of going out to raise as a woman.
yeah.
Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, there's that.
I know, but it is just interesting hearing other people's stories to figure out, what somebody might be missing who's listening in. Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
interesting. Have you found, so from a stakeholder management point of view, obviously raising $8 million in capital brings with it shareholders, potentially a board,
hmm
lots of overhead that's not actually running the business. Are you involved much in that kind of management?
Um, Yes, insofar as, we have a quarterly board meeting, we'll work on a board deck together, we'll discuss strategy and, what our kind of talking points are. There's definitely preparation kind of
Yeah.
for it. And I think sometimes it can be a really wonderful, kind of beautiful forcing function too, to um whether it's landing that like kind of like last bit of strategy on something, or, getting we've been back and forth on how we might solve XYZ for like a particular feature, right? Or getting that campaign out or what have you. It,
Mm,
there's something nice in having a deadline. And it also can work against you too, where you're like, I don't, it feels like we're not quite ready yet. We wish it was in like 2 weeks or kind of 3 weeks or what have you. So yes, there's overhead. Yes, there's investor updates. There's calls. Um, and I think we've been really incredibly lucky with the investors that we have. They're really great partners. I know
mm.
not everyone can say that, and I think they trust us, but we've also shown that we've can be trusted, and we've had to make and we can make hard decisions if we need to, whether that's around kind of resourcing, team, pivoting the product, decision making strategy, etc.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's such an important point that, to have people, shareholders, board members, team managers, anyone to trust you, you do have to actually be trustworthy. You do have to deliver on what you say you're going to deliver on or make hard decisions in those times. So I just
Yeah,
think that that is such an awesome point to make. And now I know it's getting late for you, so we'll wrap soon, I promise. But I want to ask
it's
you,
okay.
what do you attribute your growth to? So over the years, obviously the business has grown. Have there been any key particular strategies that have worked really well for the business to grow?
I think you need to. I think there's something around, I would say, kind of being kind of fearless and focused on the product, like on the problem you're solving, or the
Mm,
product you're building, or the service that you're providing, and trying to be incrementally better kind of week after week. And in the beginning, it is very much about testing and kind of almost doing little mini, I would say, kind of sprints. Like I would call them like marketing or kind of growth sprints, to see what's going to work, so you can quickly get some data to understand,
mm,
okay, this marketing or sales strategy is going to work, or this piece of content is, or it's not, or like something just actually kind of, like, okay, whatever, you try to like do this beta program and that like just totally failed. And then it's like, okay, why? And then we can retool it for, for the next time. Um, so I think it's, you know, everyone says it's like, learn to kind of fail quickly, but there is something in that. We've definitely waited too long to make some decisions or what have you, but it is really, there's only so much time, there's only so much resource. So thinking kind of about, I think about that. Being comfortable with being uncomfortable and taking risks, whatever that could be, right? Like that could be having this like amazing idea about hosting like XYZ event, whether that's like, virtual or in person, that can drive a lot of buzz and potential leads or like what have you. And even though it kind of feels scary or uncomfortable, it's like going to do it. Or putting yourself out there on social, however that, kind of like
Yeah.
might be, or kind of showing up, or pitching yourself for that big, potential kind of client, or yeah, it's just swinging big, I would say, I think is like some of the secrets. And also listening. Like you need to kind of listen, you need to hear, and you need to not hear what you want to hear.
Yes.
Um which can be like really really which can be difficult. And I also think there's something in kind of relationship building, I think, is also
Mhm.
like kind of a secret weapon, or just like being open to have any type of conversation kind of with whoever and wherever, go to that networking event. Like you never know. I literally actually my co-founder Nick and I were like at a dinner like 3 weeks ago, and we met a bunch of, it was kind of like an industry kind of like influencer dinner with this media company that we had done some work with. And I met this like really amazing kind of like marketer. And then we were literally just at Shop Talk in Las Vegas, which is a big kind of DTC e-com retail conference. And we were literally waiting in a line, and three people in front of us was this woman we had just met at the dinner. She was like, "Oh, I was
Wow.
just thinking about you guys and talking about you guys to my two colleagues. Oh, here they
Wow.
are." And
Mm.
we, booked a meeting and what have you, what have you. So you just never know. Go to the go to the things, go to the
Go to
happy
the
hours,
things.
go to the networking events, say yes to things, put yourself out there. I think that's some of the secrets. And yes, like, there could be like, I know there's like much more kind of like tactical things that like one could say, but I feel like those are some of the bigger
Yeah.
themes.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I mean, as a general rule, say yes and put yourself out there. I know sometimes things feel like, oh, that was such a waste of my time. I didn't meet anyone, rah, 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 but it's like you just never know. So it's always
Mhm.
worth it. And you just never know
Yeah.
who, like the right person might not be there, but then someone you just were chatting to talks to their friend or talks to their colleague or talks to whatever. Like now you're just in more people's heads, more opportunities will flow. I love
Yeah.
it. You are so amazing, Sam. Thank
Oh my
you
god, thank you.
so much. Now, I always love to wrap up these podcasts with one last question. So, reflecting on your time in business, what would be one piece of advice that you would give to another woman on her business journey?
Oh, I'm going to use my one sports ball reference that I have, which is Kobe Bryant said, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." So take a shot, take a step. I know so many people have probably said that before, but it's true. And you'd probably take a shot or take a step that most women don't take.
You are amazing, Sam. Thank you so much for your time
Thank
today
you.
and sharing your story and your wisdom with the Spark community. That was incredible.
Thank you so much.
That wraps another episode of Spark TV. Shout out to Spark TV sponsor IP Australia for their amazing support of the Spark podcast and women in business. And if no one tells you today, you've got this.